The Koryo from Kawasaki is a modern horse that never tires. With all the expectations people have for Kawasaki, especially when it comes to their top-notch motorcycles, no one was prepared for this new revelation. Instead of two wheels and an engine, they're showcasing a unique creature, a four-legged robot that doesn't just run, but uses hydrogen to operate. The name of this machine is Koryo. Just imagine a horse that doesn't need food, doesn't sleep, and never gets tired. Remove the muscles, replace them with steel, add AI and clean fuel. That's Koryo. A modern robotic horse that can cross places no wheeled vehicle can reach. And the most impossible part, you can ride it like a motorcycle but with four legs. The debut of Koryo, not a motorcycle but a horse. In April 2025 at the Osaka Kansai Expo, everyone was waiting. Many thought Kawasaki would unveil another high-speed superbike, but everyone was shocked. A robot that looked like a horse slowly came out onto the stage. This was no ordinary robot. It stood almost 1.5 meters tall, about chest high for an average person. On its head, there was a visor that looked like it came from a sci-fi motorbike. Inside was a 150-centimeter long hydrogen engine. It doesn't turn any wheels. Instead, it powers electric motors in each leg. Its strength lies in its power, intelligence, and silence. It's about 20 HP, enough to climb steep hills without any emissions. Each leg has its own drive system, so the torque goes straight to the ground. And instead of smoke, only water comes out of it. But the real magic is in the legs. The back leg has a swing arm, just like a motorcycle. It can adapt to any bump or rock. It has a rubber hoof like a horse's shoe, with grip for sand and rocks. It also has AI. It reads the surroundings and automatically adjusts every step. It doesn't make loud noises like other robots. It steps quietly and carefully, like a mountain goat. It feels like a real horse. Ride Kubo. Koryo, it's like riding a trail bike. There's a seat like a saddle, handlebars familiar to motorists, and a footrest that automatically adjusts. No joystick or complex controls. Just move your body and shift your weight with your feet. Koryo already knows his destination. A small screen in front displays fuel level, body balance, and direction. It's simple and distraction-free. When it's dark, Koryo has a guiding light like a breadcrumb trail on the ground, plus an underglow. That's why he looks like he's floating while walking. Koryo is sturdy but lightweight, made from a combination of carbon fiber and light alloys. It features Kawasaki's signature electric green. It weighs around 180 kilograms. The weight is enough for stability but not too heavy to lose agility. The hydrogen canisters are located behind the seat. There are two, and they can be replaced immediately when empty. Race bikes use this setup too, but in Koryo, it's for the robot horse. This is just one part of a bigger plan. Koryo is part of what's called ALEC mobility. It's a vision of Kawasaki for hydrogen-powered vehicles, from robots to ships. Even as a prototype, it can already carry up to 100 kilograms. It can run 150 miles on one tank and reach a speed equivalent to jogging pace. In theory, it can carry up to 100 kilograms. In the actual demo, it can climb over uneven blocks without even spilling the coffee of its passenger. It's not just a concept, it's a glimpse of the future. For now, Koryo is still just a prototype. But it shows the possibilities. When wheels give up, legs are the next step. And if the energy is clean, people can still move. Anywhere, anytime. The question now is the world ready for this kind of horse? The heart of Koryo. Hydrogen with no smell, no smoke, no hassle. If a horse has a beating heart, Koryo has hydrogen. A modern hay for the modern age. Imagine rocket fuel but stored in a reusable thermos. That's what Koryo brings. A sturdy carbon-wrapped cylinder sits behind the seat, filled with compressed hydrogen gas. If it runs out, that's not an issue. You only need to press 2 spring pins, pull out the old tank, insert the new one, and click. It's even faster than putting on a helmet. No need to look for a socket, no waiting time. Instant swap, instant movement. So for rescuers, park rangers, or anyone who needs to be on the move all day, there's no need to wait or be late. Simple chemistry. Powerful results right after installing a new tank. The 150 cubic centimeters hydrogen engine of Koryo comes alive. Its sound is just a soft hum like a cat purring inside the engine. The engine doesn't directly power the legs. Instead, it rotates to generate electricity, which is then sent to the electric motors in each thigh. The result? Hydrogen and oxygen make electricity. And the only thing that comes out is water vapor. No smoke, no smell of gasoline, no carbon dioxide, just steam. Environmentally clean. And it's also clean for the conscience. But why hydrogen? Simple. Because it's light. To get the same range using a lithium battery, you need a heavier and bulkier setup. With hydrogen, Koryo is light. He's not like a metal rhino, not a fierce but fast mechanical horse. And because gas refuels faster than charging electricity, it only takes a few seconds to change the tank. It doesn't even take a lunch break. This combination, quick to replace and light to run, allows Koryo to work from morning until night, even without a charging station nearby. The infrastructure. The future is here. Of course, you first need to bring hydrogen to the mountain or trail. This is where another project of Kawasaki comes in. In 2022, they launched the Suizo Frontier, the world's first ship capable of transporting liquefied hydrogen to distant places. From Australia to Kobe, Japan, it carried ultra-cold hydrogen at minus 253 degrees Celsius, like a gigantic thermos. It proved that mass delivery of hydrogen is possible and safe. Yes, at first the hydrogen tanks came from coal and natural gas. But now, Japan, together with Kawasaki, is slowly moving towards green hydrogen. They already have pilot plants using hydrogen. They use sea breeze and mountain water to create clean and renewable hydrogen through electrolysis. Every step in this direction reduces Koryo's environmental footprint until it becomes carbon-free, not just his journey, but also the very source of his energy. In other words, hydrogen is the new straw for the modern horse, but this isn't for a real horse. This is for a metallic friend who never gets tired, never sweats, and leaves cleaner than when he arrived. More than 50 years of robotics, not just motorcycles. Even before Kawasaki made a robotic horse, it already had a long history of making purposeful machines. In fact, the company's robot legacy began in 1968 when they partnered with Unimation, an American company that invented the very first industrial robot. The result, the Kawasaki Unimate 2000, was the first industrial robot made in Japan itself. Back then it was clunky and hydraulic, used just for factory welding, but that sparked the revolution. In the 1980s, they introduced the P-Series, their first all-electric robots, faster, cleaner, and easier to control. Next came the E-Series for assembly tasks. And in 1989, the J-Series arrived with a more flexible robot. It could handle curved surfaces and move in tighter spaces. In the 1990s, the focus was on refinement. The UE Series in 1992 brought more precise control and repeatability. This was very important in the electronics industry, where a 1 millimeter error is a big problem. By 1998, the series arrived for high-speed pick-and-place work. This was followed by the Z series for painting and coating. It's perfect for car factories where the color needs to be even. A robotic revolution from the factory to the operating room. In 2002, Kawasaki introduced the M series for heavy-duty work and the Y series for super-fast packaging. They also entered cleanroom robotics for the semiconductor industry, places where not even a speck of dust is allowed to enter. But one of the biggest steps was in 2015. The Dwaro, a robot with 2 arms, designed to work with humans without the need for barriers or cages. It can screw in bolts, wrap products, or assemble packaging, all while moving carefully and politely. Soon after, they moved into medical robotics. With Seismex Corporation's help, they developed the Hinatori surgical robot with 3D vision and ultra-precise arms for delicate operations such as robotic prostate surgery. It was launched here in 2020 as an alternative to America's Da Vinci system. Koryo. It's not a miracle, just a result. So when Koryo went up on stage in 2025, it wasn't like he just suddenly appeared. He's just one of the new steps in Kawasaki's long and continuous journey, from the factory floor to the operating room to the mountain trails. 4 legs, AI, and hydrogen power. This isn't just for show. This is a combination of 50 years of innovation, determination, and a love for machines with a purpose. And while they make some of the world's most iconic motorcycles, Koryo proves Kawasaki isn't just for the road. Even looking ahead, they have power to spare, a legacy of speed. How did Kawasaki become the motorcycle king? If there's one thing that can't be beaten when it comes to Kawasaki's reputation, it's that fearless power, raw, direct, and always under control. But it didn't just appear out of nowhere. Before the brand became known worldwide, they went through tough challenges. After World War II, Kawasaki, which was then known for making warships and airplanes, decided to shift its focus from massive machines to 2 wheels. In 1953, they created the Kawan, a small 148 cubic centimeter 4-stroke engine, aimed at helping Japan recover during its period of rebuilding. 2 years later, the Meihatsu 125 was launched as their first full motorcycle, and the company's progress quickly accelerated. In 1960, they built a motorcycle-only factory, and by 1961, had a nationwide sales network in Japan. But the real game changer, in 1964, when they acquired Muro Manufacturing, the oldest motorcycle maker in Japan. This was the beginning of the WB1 650 era, Kawasaki's answer to British bikes, and the first proof that they could compete on the global stage. Power that goes beyond limits. In 1969, the H1 Mach 3 was introduced, a 2-stroke triple that could run a 1/4 mile in just 13 seconds. From there, they continued to bring a revolution in speed. By 1972, the Z1 was released, a 903 cubic centimeter 4-stroke beast that could reach 200 kilometers per hour. This is the motorcycle that literally invented the word superbike. In the 80s, they broke the boundary between the racetrack and the road. In 1981, they introduced the Unitrack single-shock suspension, but the real highlight was the GPZ 900R Ninja. In 1984, it was the world's first mass-produced liquid-cooled 16-valve inline-4 engine and the first motorcycle to reach 240 kilometers per hour. Of course, we can't forget this was also the motorcycle used by Tom Cruise in Top Gun. That's why the Ninja became a legend. In 1990, the beast kept coming. ZX-11 was once the world's fastest. In 2006, the 1995 ZX-6R was the middleweight king. ZX-12R debuted in 2000, followed by ZX-110R and ZX-14 in 2004. When 2015 came, they shook the world with the Ninja H2R, a supercharged beast that exceeded 300 kilometers per hour. It's not just about power, it's also smart, cornering ABS in 2018 and radar cruise control in 2022, so it can maintain distance from other vehicles, even when you're just in cruise mode. And now, we're heading towards electric Ninjas, hydrogen-powered prototypes, and hybrid sport bikes. For 70 years, Kawasaki has been saying one thing: if it doesn't excite you, it's not worth doing. The question now is, if they're the standard in motorcycles, can Koryo make it in the robot scene? A comparison, Koryo versus the others. Let's admit it, Koryo isn't the first robot that knows how to walk on 4 legs, but it's the only one made for people to ride. A lot of robots today can only carry things, deliver coffee, or dance in YouTube videos. But Koryo has a different ambition, a true mechanical companion for real missions. Let's look at the famous competitors. Number 1, Boston Dynamics Spot. Spot is the most famous. It's like a big dog that can walk on rocks, stairs, or mud, fully electric, autonomous, and intelligent. But it's not for riding. It can carry 14 kilos. That's just as heavy as a backpack. It can be used for inspection, but it can't lift you. Number 2, Hyundai DALI, a friendly robot for customer service. It doesn't walk. It has hidden wheels underneath. It's great at greeting people. It can shake hands and take selfies, but its skills are only for the showroom. You can't take it to the mountains or mud. Friendly? Yes. Adventurous? No. Number 3, Yamaha Motobot. This one is a humanoid robot riding a real Yamaha R1. It's incredibly fast, but it's bolted to the motorcycle. It doesn't know how to walk. It also can't balance itself. It was made for testing, not for carrying people as transportation. Koryo. Unlike the others who dance, greet, or speed off, Koryo quietly walks toward a new era. It features a seat handlebar, sensors to read body movements, and rubber hoops for mountains, rocks, or sand. It responds to your weight shifts, just like a real horse, and most importantly, it's hydrogen-powered. 0 emissions, quick to refuel. It has a long range, and it doesn't need a remote control or preloaded program. You're in control. Its goal isn't to be the fastest, the most humanoid, or the cutest. Its goal is to be rideable, clean, and reliable. The first robot mount that can replace 4 wheels in a world of robots that are just assistants, entertainers, or sidekicks. Koryo is a companion ready to take on the mission, not just for demos, but for real journeys. And if there are still obstacles ahead, with the courage of its hydrogen and Kawasaki technology, it's ready to take on the trail with a rider like you. Not ready yet? Just amazed by Koryo? Yes, Koryo is truly amazing. But no matter how futuristic it is, it's not ready to take on the real world just yet. It's not because Kawasaki lacks ambition. It's because there are just so many obstacles to overcome. First of all, the legs. It looks simple, but in robotics, this is the hardest part. Wheels just spin. But legs need to walk, adjust, and balance themselves with every step. Every time Koryo lifts one of his hooves, dozens of sensors and motors need to synchronize instantly. If even a single actuator fails mid-step, the whole system could fall over. And because of this, it's very hard to love. It needs maintenance, especially if it's in the mountains, forest, or places without a mechanic. Second, the price. Kawasaki hasn't announced how much Koryo will cost yet, but it's definitely not going to be as cheap as a mountain bike. A hydrogen-powered, AI-controlled, rideable robot, right now, it's still just a high-end concept. It's not mass-produced, so it's currently limited to exhibits, demos, or pilots. Third, where will you refuel? In many countries, hydrogen stations are still rare. If you're not near a research hub or pilot project, it's hard to fill Koryo's tank. And this is a problem that Kawasaki can't control. A widespread infrastructure is needed for this. Fourth, what kind of vehicle is this anyway? It's not a car, it's not a motorcycle, and it's not a drone either. So, where can you park it? Do you need a license? And if there's an accident, who will be held responsible? These are the regulatory gray areas that need to be addressed before the use of Koryo becomes legal on roads or trails. And finally, people's perception. Some will be amazed, wow, the technology is impressive, but others will raise their eyebrows. Why not just use a bicycle instead? Isn't that a bit too much? But honestly, every new invention goes through a moment of doubt like that. Do you remember when people used to criticize electric cars? Or when drones were seen as just toys? Or when people said smartphones were nonsense? But look at them now. If Koryo can overcome these obstacles, legal, technical, and social, he might be the one to set a new standard in mobility. And someday we might even wonder, Why did we ever doubt the robot horse? Why does the world need Koryo? Picture this scene in your mind. A small mountain town, just after a landslide. The road is blocked, trees, rocks, and mud are in the way. The helicopter can't land, vehicles can't get through, every second counts. This is the kind of situation Kawasaki had in mind when they introduced Koryo at the Osaka Kansai Expo, a vehicle that can cross places where wheels can't go, and most importantly, it uses clean energy. But why? And not wheels. Simple, because there are places that really can't be rolled over. A quadruped robot like Koryo can step on rocks, climb hills, and adjust to soft ground without sinking or falling over. In tests, it has been proven that robots with legs can cross areas that no truck or wheeled vehicle can pass through. But it's not just about mobility. Disaster-stricken or remote areas usually don't have electricity or charging stations. This is where hydrogen comes in. A small tank that's easy to replace and can provide electricity for several hours. It's quiet, produces no smoke, and only releases water. And there's more. This aligns with Japan's broader goal of promoting clean energy. Kawasaki itself is already transporting liquefied hydrogen from Australia to Japan using their ship, the Swiss Frontier. They're already using it in motorcycles and ships. So, integrating it into a legged robot is just a natural next step. It's not just for disasters, but also for the community. But Koryo isn't just for rescue. Doctors who need to reach remote clinics can also use him. Forest rangers who need to patrol sensitive forests without having to build roads can also use him. It can serve as a mobility device for the elderly in the mountains, where there are no more jeeps or buses. It's not just a machine, it's a bridge. From clean energy to true access. This is made for places where technology escapes and traditional vehicles give up. And if you think this is already amazing, wait until you see what else this technology can unlock in the coming years. A robotic horse that can change everything. Yes, now Koryo is a robotic horse, but it's not just about riding through the forest or crossing trails. The real weight of this technology lies in its potential to change the way we live, in the city, in the forest, and someday on other planets. It may look like science fiction, but this is the logical direction pointed to by the combination of clean energy and intelligent robotics. And if we follow this long enough, it might not be far from happening. Let's start on the ground. Let's look at our cities today. Almost everything is designed for wheels. Wide roads, traffic lights, gutters, parking lots, all of these are for vehicles moving around, not for people walking. But Koryo walks instead of using a vehicle. He can climb stairs, walk on narrow paths, and cross barriers that wheels can't get through. Imagine Koryo in the future carrying groceries inside the park, helping people with disabilities cross the cobblestone streets, or maybe delivering supplies to places without roads. If this happens, we might start building cities for people again, not just for cars. More green spaces, less asphalt. Walkable communities where robots blend into the surroundings, not get in the way. Robots with legs might be the key to our freedom from the asphalt empire. Next, nature. Now think about the forest. Usually, conservation teams work in remote areas using ATVs or helicopters. Noisy, expensive, and harmful to the nature they want to protect. But Koryo is quiet. He leaves no trace. Animals aren't scared. The ground isn't damaged. Give him sensors and AI. He can patrol against illegal hunters. He can track endangered species. He can plant seedlings in places people can't reach. He's not replacing nature. He's helping it survive. And here's the big plot twist. National Aeronautics and Space Administration, the European Space Agency, and SpaceX are now serious about sending people to Mars. But before astronauts can get there, infrastructure is needed first. Delivery of cargo, setting up habitats, exploring the land. And guess what? They're now testing legged robots like Koryo. In recent years, The Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, backed Cerberus team, used quadrupeds in caves that resemble Mars to see how they would move on terrain that a rover can't traverse. And if you think about it, Koryo doesn't need a road. It can climb, step, and adjust to any kind of terrain. If it's hydrogen or solar powered, it can last for several hours, even on another planet. Before humans even land on Mars, maybe Koryo will be the first to handle the tools, set up outposts, or look for safe routes. It's not just about riding, but about changing perspectives, like a simple invention, a robot horse. But if you look at it through a wider lens, it changes our idea of how we move around the world. The road doesn't have to be smooth anymore. Gasoline's noise and smoke are no longer needed, and wheels no longer dictate design. What we're doing here isn't just building a vehicle, but creating a new way of thinking, and maybe a new beginning. This isn't just a ride, it's a rethink of transportation, technology, and the future.